there was all this talk about, oh, it's the Bundesliga, it's Germany. Bayern Munich are just beating up on lesser teams. It's a farmers league. What can people say now? What can people say now? Bayern Munich, before that red card, they dominated PSG throughout the first half. They dominated them. The amount of chances, the amount of creativity, the amount of errors that PSG made in that first half. Look, the first goal is not really an error, right? The ball falls to I think, Gnabry. Nice little flick to Olise. Probably should score that, but Luis Diaz follows it up and finishes. The second goal is an error, like, we're just waiting to happen. And I've said it. This is not me, waiting for a man to fall to finally be like, I told you so. I said this last season. Every PSG video that I've made in the last year, I said the same exact things. I don't trust Donnarumma, and I don't trust Marquinhos. Donnarumma's gone. Marquinhos is still there. And wouldn't you know it, he comes up with another error in a key game. The ball seems to be dealt with. Hakimi gets it to Marquinhos. Just clear it out. Do something with it. Just dwell on the ball. The ball gets nipped. And Luis Diaz is in on goal. Boom, 2-0. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, PSG look like they're not even up for this game. They don't look like they're ready for this game. And it's an interesting kind of game, right? Because PSG and Bayern Munich are kind of in identical situations in their leagues. You're better than everybody else. You're expected to dominate everybody else. But when you come to the Champions League and you face teams of your caliber, that domination is not gonna be prevalent anymore. You're not gonna have it all your way anymore. And I think Bayern Munich came into this game understanding, okay, we're away at PSG. Let's just nip the ball off them. Let's press them. Let's get the ball off them. Let's not try to dominate the game. Or obviously you want to play your game, but you have to respect the team that you're going to play against. PSG were playing the game like they're playing a Ligue 1 game, like you're playing Lorient or something. This is not the same kind of caliber of opponents. The same errors that you make against Metz and Lens and all those guys that might not get punished, Harry Kane, Luis Diaz, Michael Olise will punish you if you make those errors. And that's exactly what Bayern Munich did today. They punished the errors. There was even a moment where Kimmich had gone in, maybe towards the right side of the goal, cuts it back, and I think Stanisic it was that just leaves it. I think he thinks Gnabry's behind him, he's gonna put it in. Swing your left foot at that, it's 3-0, it might be game over. Right? And the moment that changes the game is the red card to Luis Diaz on the tackle on Hakimi. Hopefully Hakimi is he's well. I think today's actually his birthday. I think they said it that today is Hakimi's 27th birthday. I'm not too sure on that, but if it is, happy birthday to him. Hopefully he gets well soon. But initially the tackle didn't look anything crazy to me. But then on replay, he jumps with 2 feet. He gets Hakimi's left leg kind of stuck in an awkward position. And the VAR check didn't pop up until it was evident that Hakimi couldn't stand up anymore, right? When he starts limping off the pitch, now the VAR check comes up, and it's like, oh, possible red card. That's a little bit weird to me. Like, I feel like there was enough time from the tackle. Within a minute, they should have been like, oh, possible red card check. It seemed like because of the injury, it was. I'm not accusing VAR of anything, but it seemed like because of the injury, then the VAR check came about, and once the VAR check comes about, Luis Diaz is done for. 2 goals and a red card in an eventful first half. But that was the lifeline that PSG needed, because before that, I didn't see how they were going to get back into the game. And it was a little bit unfortunate for them because Ousmane Dembele goes off with a hamstring injury. And I'm kind of questioning Luis Enrique in the sense that I know it's a huge game. You want to beat Bayern, but you're going to have to just bank on maybe Gonzalo Ramos or somebody from the bench doing a good enough job. Because if you play a half-fit Dembele and then he probably picks up another injury, now you're cooked. Now you're actually screwed because you're going to lose him for probably 6 weeks, probably until the new year, till he's fully fit. You're going to miss him for some important games, Champions League games. I don't know if that was the right decision from Luis Enrique, but you never know if maybe the player was past fit, or it's always a risk, right? And Dembele is kind of starting to to get back to his injury prone days that we saw at Dortmund and Barcelona. He's kind of starting to get back to that point. Hopefully, it's not too serious, and this may be his last big injury of this season, but it's starting to look a little bit troublesome. But Bayern Munich in that first half were exceptional. The front three played with such confidence, such creativity. They pressed really well. They nipped the ball off of PSG exceptionally well, and they took their chances when they came. The red card comes about, and in the second half, I'm thinking PSG are going to have an onslaught, and they're going to just dominate and just pepper the Bayern goal. Yes, they did with a lot of shots, but it wasn't really anything clear cut. There weren't really any clear cut chances, any quality chances that I can say that should have been a goal. That was a bad miss. It just seemed like steady attacks, steady, just keeping up the pressure on. It wasn't until João Neves comes on that you start to see a little bit more, right? And I really like João Neves because he's obviously a very good, midfielder. He can play the holding role. He can play the box-to-box role. He scored a hat-trick last season or this season? I think it was this season against Toulouse, maybe. But he's really good at crashing the box. He can protect your backline as well. Kind of an all-round midfielder. And the way he looks, you would think he's more of just a holding, maybe a pit bull destroyer type of player. He has a lot more to his game. Gets the goal from the Lee cross, puts them back into the game. And now you're thinking, okay, PSG I think the goal went in maybe around the 60th. Don't quote me on that. There was so much going on in my head, but it came in with enough time for them to go back and get the second goal and maybe even get the third goal and win the game. Because at that point, Bayern Munich weren't really pressing. They weren't really doing anything on the counterattack. They really didn't really have an outlet. And when Bayern Munich get into a kind of a park the bus situation, you see Harry Kane playing as a center back, playing as a DM. You lose all the outlet. The only outlet was really Michael Olise on the right wing. There were a couple times where he could have been played in behind, but it's a difficult pass to play when you're under pressure. You can't look up because you're trying to focus so hard on not losing the ball where you are. You can't really look up and say, oh, Olise is there, let me play him in. So it's a difficult situation for Bayern Munich to be in. However, they played that game about as good as you can, going away to one of the top 5 teams in the world with the red card. I don't think you could have played the second half any better than Bayern played it. Defensively, strong. Manuel Neuer didn't have to make any outstanding saves, really. Everything kind of seemed in front of him. It was kind of easy saves for him to make. And that's the kind of performance you want to give in an away ground like that. When you're under the cosh, you don't really have anything going forward. Just have to hope that you can hold out for the 45 minutes that you're playing with 10 men. And Bayern Munich did that exceptionally well. And now that is continuing their record of in the top 5 leagues wins to start a season. And this was the most difficult game. I know the Arsenal game is coming up at the end of the month. I don't see this Bayern team losing. I'm struggling to see where the losses come from because they look like they're clicking in every single facet of the game. Defensively, they look strong, and that's always been my worry with Bayern. Is there going to be an error here? Is Upamecano going to make a mistake? Is Tal going to make a mistake? Is Neuer going to get in over his head and come out of the box and foul somebody, or they're going to lob him? I'm always thinking, is there going to be something that just goes wrong with this Bayern team? But today showed a maturity in not only the way they play and the performance, but also a maturity in Vincent Kompany's kind of tactical development as a manager. He's looking like a developed manager, like a more developed manager, where you can't really tactically outclass him, you can't outcoach him, he's looking like he's taking another step in his managerial career. And there was a lot of talk when he came from Burnley, why are you signing a relegated manager? There were things that obviously the Bayern hierarchy saw in that Burnley side, or in him, that made him think, okay, give him better players, give him a better team. He can make this team look different. And this team is looking very, very different. I think if Diaz never gets that red card and they keep playing the way they're playing, I think they play PSG off the park. I think I'm not even exaggerating. It could have been 1-3, 2-4. It could have been a 2-goal margin, basically, is what I'm saying. So exceptional performance from this Bayern Munich side. Exceptional again from Kane, especially. having to be a number 9 and hold up and pick up the ball as in the defensive position, kind of carry his team up the pitch. I know I said he could have played Olise in a couple times, but it's a difficult pass to make. Just his overall play as a center forward, exceptional again. And look, what can we say about this PSG team now? Dembele is going to be out for an extended period of time. Doué is probably going to be out as well for a period of time. Yes, they got the midfield 3 backs, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha. Hakimi is now going to be out. It looks like a serious injury, probably maybe to the end of the year. I don't know what the injury is, but it's looking a little bit serious. This could seriously derail the Champions League season. I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say Marseille or Monaco will win the league. I still think they'll win the league, but in the Champions League, this could have been a damaging day for this PSG side. Enrique's gonna have to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure a couple of things out, right? Because that last season, that campaign in the Champions League started to make people believe, okay, is this PSG team, the next team up? Are they one of the best? And we're kind of going back to before last year. Okay, this is really who PSG are, right? They're flattered to deceive. They're gonna play a couple great games here, but when it comes to the big games, they're gonna fall short. Are we going back to that, or can they find the PSG from last season again? Don't want to get too reactionary, but it's an interesting question to at least ask. But from a Bayern perspective, exceptional performance again, a dominant performance when it was 11 against 11, and I don't see where this Bayern team is going to lose or even drop points in the coming weeks. So credit to Bayern. PSG have a lot more work to do. Not just this game, but some results in Ligue 1. The draw against was it Lorient? Maybe no. Who was the draw against? The last draw, and then the draw against Toulouse a couple of weeks before. Sorry, Strasbourg. Draw against Strasbourg. So, I don't know. If PSG look a little bit iffy, it's injuries, it's new season. They didn't really get a preseason. I don't know what is going on with the team, but it'll be interesting to see how they kind of bounce back from this and they can carry on throughout the end of the year without some key players. So, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you very, very soon. Peace out.